Come closer. Come closer, closer, closer. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We just got a few hadiths left with regards to the chapter of how the Kawthar and Shafa'at before we start the next chapter, Babu Sifati Ahlil Jannah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وعن ابن عمر أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إنما أمامكم حوضي ما بين جنبي كما بين جرعاء وأذرح. قال بعض الرواة هما قريبتان بالشام بينهما مسيرة 3 ليال. وفي رواية فيه أباريك كنجوم السماء من وردها فشرب منه لم يظمأ بعدها أبدا. متفق عليه. Okay, this riwayat here, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, really have extra meaning, or any extra, what's that, extra information, more or less a confirmation of what has been discussed earlier. The written authority of Ibn Imran, he says that Rasulullah said, "Inna amamakum hawdi," that really in front of you is the hawd. In other words, that you'll have to pass by this hawd. The time will come when you have to pass with it. Inna amamakum hawdi ma bayna jambay. Right, ma bayna jambayhi kama bayna jarba'a. What is between his two sides is what is between jarba wa adruha. In other words, what they're saying here is that I told you before, we discussed it several times, that it's just showing not adad but kathrat, right? ما بين جنبيه كما بين جرباء أو أذرحة. قال بعض الرواة, and some of the ruwat explain what do you mean by this, right? هما قريتان بالشام. There are two little towns or villages in Sham. بينهما مسيرة 3 ليال. And between the two is a distance of 3 nights. In other words, such a big place that you have to travel 3 days from the one end to the other end. وفي رواية فيه, another riwayat, أباريك كنجوم السماء. And in another riwayat, it says there are abarik, goblets, like the stars of the sky. In other words, as you know, on a clear night, especially where there is no uh, light pollution, when you look up into the sky, right? Right. So when you look in a clear night, when you go sometimes to the countryside, you go to Drakensberg or you go somewhere, Utenek is a countryside, it's away from the habitation, away from civilization, where there's less light pollution. You look up into the sky, it's a clear night, and you see like millions of stars, or something like that there. كنجوم السماء, right? ما وردها فشرب. Who comes with and drinks from it, لم يظمأ بعد أبدا. You will never ever get thirsty after again. متفق عليه. It's a متفق عليه riwayat. Read the next riwayat. Come closer. وعن حذيفة أبي هريرة رضي الله تعالى عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يسمع الله تبارك وتعالى الناس ويقول المؤمنون حتى تزلف لهم الجنة ويأتون آدم فيقولون يا أبانا استفتحنا الجنة فيقول أنت رجب الجنة إلا خطيئة أخيك. Okay, let me translate all there. Also, this hadith here, more or less all the information here you've already passed it, nothing really extra. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وعن حذيفة وأبي هريرة نريتنا أثارة حذيفة أبو هريرة قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. They too said that Rasul said يجمع الله تبارك وتعالى الناس. Allah Ta'ala will gather all the people. And you obviously remember what we call Maidan al-Hashar, the place of Hashar. فيقوم المؤمنون, the believers will stand حتى تزلف لهم الجنة, until Jannah will be brought close for them. فيأتون آدم. Now remember, it's not mentioned in this hadith, but in the other hadith it is mentioned people will be in perplex, they will be in anxiety, they will be in worry. فيأتون آدم, then they will come to Adam. فيقولون يا أبانا استفتح لنا الجنة, open for us Jannah. Right? In other words, we are standing here uh, in, uh, in, in in perplexity, we are worried, we don't know what's going to happen. Right? Let us start the proceedings. Those who must go to Jannah, they can go to Jannah. Those who must go to Jahannam, they must go to Jahannam. Right? استف فيقول وهل أخرجكم من الجنة إلا خطيئة أبيكم. So I told you we discussed this in detail. Literally translates, is it not the mistake of your father that removed you from Jannah? So we know that he never do a wrong thing. It was haram. It was maybe inappropriate. It was his desire to remain in Jannah close to Allah Ta'ala. So he had noble intentions. But he explains it as a mistake, as a sin, because this was his tawadu'. The closer you are to Allah Ta'ala, the more a small thing seems big in your sight. So this was his tawadu'. He said, look, I can't speak to Allah Ta'ala. I have to answer for my own mistakes. Like you say, what can I, like, you say, I was there, I got some debt, borrow me the maaf, man. I got my own debts I have to pay. I can't help you. I got so much debts. قد ركبني ديوني. I got so much debts on my own head that I have to see to. I can't help you, right? The exact same thing is, I can't help you, man. Maaf. I got my own problems. I got my own problems I have to answer. And this was just because of the close relationship to Allah Ta'ala that he feared. But in reality, we believe they don't have sins. Are you with me? Is it clear? So this famous masla, remember, what's it called? Ismatul Anbiya. What's it called? Ismat. It might come in exams also. I remember in our exams, this verse in Jalalain. People doing Jalalain. فَعَصَى آدَمُ رَبَّهُ فَغَوَى. Under that verse, we got our Marhum Ustad Mufti Ibrahim said, explain what is Ismatul Anbiya, what is our position of the Ahl Sunnah and with regards to Ismatul Anbiya, what are your proofs for Ismatul Anbiya, and you give the whole story which I told you, like I told you, Hasd Abrar, Shaykh Muqarrabin, all that stuff what I told you, right? So I'll never forget it was came under this verse. فَعَصَى آدَمُ رَبَّهُ فَغَوَى. In Jalalain Shareef was in first year. Right, anyway. So he said, لَسْتُ بِصَاحِبِ ذَلِكَ. Literally, I'm not that person. In other words, I'm not worthy of that. I got my own problems. And this was his tawadu. اذهبوا إلى ابن إبراهيم خليل الله. Go to my son, obviously not direct son, but few generations. Go to my son Ibrahim Khalil. قال فيقول إبراهيم لست بصاحب ذلك. Ibrahim alayhi salam also said, look, yeah, I'm not that guy. Literally, I'm not your man here. I can't help you out here, right? إنما كنت خليلا مي وراء وراء. So this is Arabic station. Like you say, أولا أخبرني أولا بأول. Inform me first what is happening. This means إنما كنت خليلا مي وراء وراء. I was before the Khalil of Allah Ta'ala, but I got my own problems now. I got my own problems. I spoke the three untruths. Again, this was his tawadu. Because technically speaking, he was not a sin. It was not a blatant lie, etc., etc. Right? So it is just his tawadu, right? اعمدوا إلى موسى الذي كلم الله تكليما. Go to, imagine even the Anbiya alayhi salatu was taslim. They were such great friends of Allah Ta'ala, but they had so much tawadu. Who are we to have arrogance to say, I am this person, I'm that person, and I can do this and I can do that? They were they were, the muqarrabin of Allah Ta'ala, but still they said, اعملوا إلى موسى الذي كلم الله تكليما. Go to Musa, the one Allah Ta'ala spoke to him. فيأتون موسى فيقول لست بصاحب ذلك. I'm not your man. Sorry. اذهبوا إلى عيسى كلمة الله. Go to Isa, the word of Allah Ta'ala, وروحه, and his spirit. So remember here, we say Kalimatillah, the Christians, they want to prove from this here. Yeah, this attributing Isa alayhi salam to be the spirit of Allah Ta'ala and to bring of the word of Allah Ta'ala doesn't mean that he's part of Allah Ta'ala. Like I told you, look here, you say Baytullah, Baytullah, the house of Allah Ta'ala. Does that mean Allah Ta'ala live in the Kaaba? Does Allah Ta'ala live in the Kaaba? In fact, you speak about all the masajid, that buyutum, baytum min buyutillah, the houses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Does that mean Allah Ta'ala lives in those houses? Allah Ta'ala don't live there. But you tashrif, and it's called in Arabic, tashrifa wa takrima. You attribute it to Allah Ta'ala just because of honor, right? So same thing here. We say, when we attribute Allah Ta'ala to being the spirit, I mean, we attribute Isa, we say Isa is the ruh of Allah Ta'ala, or is the kalim of Allah Ta'ala. That doesn't mean he's part of Allah Ta'ala, he's the son of Allah Ta'ala. Just that takriman, that Allah Ta'ala said, kun fayakun. He wasn't born with a normal procedure of a biological father, etc. Like how, and and so he was born in a special way. So it doesn't mean that he's part of Allah Ta'ala. So ruh means he's the ruh, but he's not the ordinary ruh, he's the ruh of Allah Ta'ala. Like how you say, this is the friend of Allah Ta'ala, this is the house of Allah Ta'ala, this is the kalam of Allah Ta'ala, etc. etc. You with me? So just remember, this doesn't indicate juz'iyat. Look, man, it doesn't indicate juz'iyat. Not to say Isa alayhi salam is part, because sometimes the Christians say, see, even your own hadith, even your own hadith, they say that Jesus is the ruh of Allah Ta'ala. It means he's from the spirit of Allah Ta'ala. But that's not what it means. It's just the cream. It means you attribute to Allah Ta'ala out of honor, right? فيقول عيسى لست بصاحب ذلك. I'm not your man. فيأتون محمدا فيقوم, he will stand. فيؤذن له. It will be permitted for him. But remember I told you, وترسل الأمانة والرحم. Then trustworthiness and family ties, right? They will be resurrected. فَتُقُومَانِ جَنْبَتَيْ الصِّرَاطِ يَمِينًا وَشِمَالًا. They will stand on the two sides of the sirat, the right and the left. Right. This is where, according to other riwayat, it says, remember, فَيُقْتَصُ فِيهِ مَظَالِمُ. Remember, whoever abused this, trust is a general word. That only mean I gave you some money and then you must keep it in trust and then you took the money. No, you got the worker, somebody that works for you, that he must look after his time. He must come on time. He mustn't abuse the company phone. He mustn't abuse the company vehicle. He mustn't abuse the company's pens for his own work. He mustn't use all the company's resources, right, etc. It's a broad thing. One day we'll discuss that in detail in another discussion, inshallah. Right. So, فَيَمُرُ أَوَّلُكُمْ. So he's saying, now people, فَيَمُرُ أَوَّلُكُمْ كَالْبَرَقِ. The first ones, the successful ones, they will pass with the speeding of lightning. قَالَ قُلْتُ بِأَبِي أَنْتَ وَأُمِّي أَيُّ شَيْءٍ كَمَّرِ الْبَرَقِ. So the Sahabi saying, I take a custom by my mother and father, unto ummi, أَيُّ شَيْءٍ كَمَّرِ الْبَرْقِ. What thing will pass like the lightning? قال أَلَمْ تَرَوْا إِلَى الْبَرْقِ يَمُرُّ وَيَرْجِعُ فِي. Don't you see to the lightning how it passes? كيف يمر? It goes and comes back. It strikes and it retracts. Right? Right? كيف يمر ويرجع في طرفة عين, in the blink of an eye. ثم كمر الريح, then like the passing of the wind. ثم كمر الطير, then like the passing of the birds. وشد الرجال, then like the running of a person. تجري بهم أعمالهم, their أعمال will run, it will take. That was, you can say, يحرك بهم أعمالهم. The أعمال will propel them, it will drive them. وَنَبِيُّكُمْ قَائِمٌ عَلَى الصِّرَاطِ. Subhanallah, can you imagine this? And your Nabi will be standing at the full sirat. يقول ربي سلم سلم. الله أكبر الله أكبر. And he will be saying, Ya Allah, salim, have mercy, take it easy with my ummah. حتى تعجز أعمال العباد. Until certain persons' أعمال will be totally useless, right? It will not useless, it will unable, right? حتى يجيء الرجل. So you can say, no, okay, maybe not, it will be unable, but you can say certain people's a'mal, maybe you can say, all right, Ajaz will be unable, but I think the nice way to translate your fit in certain people's a'mal will be weak, you can say, right? حتى حتى تعجل أعمال العباد حتى يجيء الرجل. A person will come, فلا يستطيع السير إلا زحفا. He will not be able to work except crawling. Why? Because weak actions. قال وفي حافة الصراط And on the two sides of the sirat, kalalibun mu'allaqatun ma'muratun. They will be, we discussed this, these hooks, right? And actually, you look at social commanded, or you can say under the hanging look hooks, all sifat. This means under the order of Allah Ta'ala. تأخذ من أمرت به. It will grab, it will snatch man umirat bihi, who is commanded to do so. فَمَخْدُوشٌ نَاجٍ وَمَخْدُوشٌ فِي النَّارِ. So I told you, فَمَخْدُوشٌ. We done this word here. Makhdushun, some people will be battered and bruised, but najin, they will make it across. Like how we say in English, you scrape, if a person just passed, person wasn't working hard, you scrape through by the skin of your teeth. Isn't they say like it? So some people, the hooks will knock them, but it will just pass, right? For makhdushun najin, wa makhdushun, and some will be knocked into the fire, right? And then they'll have to be, if they'll be taken out at a later stage. وَمَكْدُوشٌ فِي النَّارِ وَالَّذِي نَفْسُ أَبِي هُرَيْرَةَ بِيَدِهِ إِنَّ قَعْرَ جَهَنَّمَ لَسَبْعِينَ خَرِيفًا. And Nabi Sallallahu said, وَالَّذِي نَفْسُ أَبِي Muhammad, I take this is the word of Abu Hurairah. Abu Hurairah says, and I take a custom by the one who the soul of Abu Hurairah is in his hand. Verily the depths, the pits of Jahannam is about 70 kharif. Rawah Muslimun, Imam Muslim narrates this riwayat. So what he's trying to say is this, that look here, the Jahannam is so deep, it is so terrible, it is such a nasty place that it is 70 kharif. Certain riwayat, it says kharif is just a mute there, somebody's sound is coming through. Right? Kharif refer to a journey, 70, 70 years of journey. So Jahannam is such a terrible place, it's that it is 70 years deep. So in other words, why is he trying to say that, look here, if your amal is not up to scratch, if your amal is not up to scratch, you're going to fall into this terrible place. You're going to fall into this. So get your amal up to scratch. Get your amal up to scratch. I'm just thinking this is a perfect talk for the month of Ramadan to encourage the people. You giving any talks in Ramadan? You? Masjid Ibadur Rahman, you're not doing Jummah day. After Tarawih, you're not doing talk. You giving any talks? Where? After Isha? You started last night. How many people was there? Huh? Only last 10 days. So this is a perfect thing. See, you say, look here, if your amal is not up to scratch, what happened? You're going to fall into the Jahannam, which is 70 years deep. Inna qa'ra jahannama la sab'ina kharifan. So, brothers and sisters, let us ramp up our amal. Let us ramp up our amal. Like two more hadiths and we finish with this bab. Read, Bismillah. Yeah, okay, just before this one thing, I told you this expression here, is more or less everything the same. Wara'a, wara'a. So what does it mean? Like before I was Allah Ta'ala's friend, but today Allah Ta'ala, he's in his, um, he's like his anger is manifest itself. Today Allah Ta'ala is in his jalal. Sometimes somebody, you're good friends with somebody, you joke, you laugh, but when a person is angry, you will, I better stay away from him now. You can see this guy's angry now, né? Like, so I don't, you can't get on the wrong side when he's like this, right? So today I'm fearing for myself, right? Right. Okay, the next riwayat, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. You check this word, sa'ariru. You checked it? You checked it? Just check this, sa'arir. Check it. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وعن جابر قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يخرج من النار قوم بالشفاعة. That Nabi Sallallahu said, a people will come out from the fire with shafa'ati, with intercession. We discussed this many times. Remember, the same principle applies. If your a'mal is good, if your a'mal is more, if you ramp up your a'mal now in the month of Ramadan, you do a lot of good deeds, then you will go straight to Jannah. فَأَمَّا مَنْ ثَقُلَتْ مَوَازِينُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. But if your a'mal is not good enough, if you've got a lot of mistakes, then what will happen? Then you have to first give time in Jahannam, right? So sometimes, despite the decision being made that you will go to Jahannam, Even on Qiyamah Day, you can get intercession and you can be saved. You understood that? Or it could happen that you will go to Jahannam and still you can be interceded for. Because remember, we done those hadith which says that somebody will see his friend is not in Jannah. They say, yeah, but this person used to fast with us. He used to read salat with us, but he's not here. What happened to him? Right? So this is after the people in Jannah will be already in Jannah. So maybe he had some weakness that other people never know about, or he was engaging in some action that the rest of the people did not know about. So uh, so, so there also some type of shafaat will take place, right? So, so these people that will come out, كأنهم ثعارير, ثعارير, جمع ثعر. Check ثعر. Yeah, it's like a cucumber. Cucumber. But normally cucumber, it was a very prized. Check ثعر there. It was a prized like vegetable among the Arabs. Huh? Maybe like a gherkin or something like that. Okay, so maybe like you get dull cucumbers. Is it dull or dull? How you say it? Huh? Dull cucumbers. So I'm just thinking now of all things, why did they choose this? Maybe among the Arabs, like the cucumber, Arab, it's hot, it's dry. The cucumber is, that's why they say in English, as cool as a cucumber. Your eyes, the person, like he doesn't get quickly vexed, he doesn't get quickly excited. He's as cool as a cucumber. So it was like a nice. That's why even isn't they say, while we're discussing this here, they say that you must eat, when you eat the dates, you eat it with the cucumber is sunnat. It is proven from the hadith, because dates is heat. What? Dates is heat, and a cucumber is cool. So you have a hot and a cool thing together. So it was a you can say it was a prized vegetable amongst the Arabs. So yeah, so hence it was something that people would love. They're saying that for some people, after they come out of Jahannam, they will be burnt, they will be put in Nahrul Hayat, etc. Then they will come out as cool as a cucumber. Kulla masa'ariru. What is a kul? Qala innahu ad-daghabisu. It is daghabis, which I told you now is like, maybe the sa'arir was not such a famous word, so Nabi Sallallahu explains it in another word, right? Yeah. So you say, remember when the people of Jahannam will be removed from Jahannam and they will come to Jannat, then they will be fresh. Remember they have special necklaces, etc., etc. One more riwayat, and inshallah we switch over. Inshallah, read the next riwayat.
كان في عقار وقال رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يشفع يوم القيامة ثلاثة الأنبياء ثم العلماء ثم الشهداء رواه ابن ماجه.
Okay. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وعن عثمان بن عفان قال يشفع يوم القيامة ثلاثة: الأنبياء ثم العلماء ثم الشهداء. رواه ابن ماجة. Okay, in this hadith here, it says that three people will intercede: the Anbiya, the Ulama, and the Shuhada. So this is not tahdeed. Nabi Sallallahu is just mentioning those people who will intercede. Other than that, any pious person, some riwayat says the Huffaz will also intercede. So the close people of Allah Ta'ala, those who draw close to Allah Ta'ala through knowledge, or the draw close to Allah Ta'ala by making the ultimate sacrifice or giving their life in the path of Allah Ta'ala. The ulama, the people who give what? They give their time. They spend so many years studying. And then after that also they spend so many years helping and serving the ummah, etc. And right? So these are the people that will do the shafa'at at the various stages. So these are the people that we must keep good company with. If you are in a pickle or in a problem, then they will assist you. So this will also be, like you can say, a, a azaz, an honor for them. So this brings us to the end of this chapter. The most important, if you look at the common theme, the common thread throughout this lesson here, it was emphasizing the importance of ramping up good actions. It was emphasizing the importance of accumulating as much good actions as possible, because That is what will take you to Jannah. That is what's going to help you to cross the full sirat. Are you with me? So Allah Ta'ala give us the tawfiq, especially in this month of Ramadan. Allahumma arzuqna shafa'ata habibik Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam wa shafa'ata anbiya'ik, and the shafa' of the anbiya wa ulama'ik, and your ulama wa shuhada'ik. Ameen ya rabbal alameen wa sallallahu ala nabil kareem. So that brings us to the end of that chapter. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept it. Like I said, we're going to start the new chapter today, interesting chapter. And the chapter is titled Okay, so the next chapter we're going to do, with the grace of Allah Ta'ala, Babu Sifatil Jannati wa Ahliha, the chapter of the description of Jannat and his people. Right, so Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran, فَأَمَّا إِن كَانَ مِنَ الْمُقَرَّبِينَ فَرَوْحُ وَرَيْحَانٌ. But if a person was from the close people, in other words, those people to made it in Jannat, then, right, فَرَوْحُ وَرَيْحَانٌ, pleasant winds, pleasant breeze will be for him. وَجَنَّةُ نَعِيمٍ, and Jannatul Na'im is also one of the places, one of the stages of Jannat. If you look at the literal translation of the word Jannat, it means a garden. Jannat means a garden, right? So the noon is mushaddad, Jannatun. You got a tashdid on the noon. Now, Janna ya Junnu normally means, if you look at the words Jim, noon, it means something which is concealed, something which is concealed. And that is why also we refer to the jinnat. Remember, minal jinnati wan nas, قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد. Right, right. So, sorry, so nas من الجنة والناس قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الواسوس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. Jinnat, jinnat is also come from the word Janna ya Junnu, because they are also hidden from the eyes of the people. Right? So Janna ya Junnu has a meaning of something which is hidden. And interesting, they say even if you look at the fetus, it's called Janeen. The fetus in the mother of a womb, Janeen, because also something hidden from the eye. And also, if you look at the word Junoon, a mad person, Junoon, or madness rather, it's something hidden. You don't see a madness. And that's why also Jinan also means heart. So yeah, interesting. Jannat is called Jannat for two reasons. One is this: Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has concealed in the middle of Jannat beautiful gardens, beautiful trees, etc. And another reason why Jannat is called Jannat is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has concealed Jannat from the eyes of the people. We can't see Jannat. We believe in Jannat. And that is the speciality of our Iman. Remember, first page, الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ, those who believe in the unseen. That is a unique feature of Iman, that you heard about something and you believe in it even though you did not see it. Even though you did not see it. Are you with me? Everyone. Come now, everyone together. Come now, everyone together. So Allah Ta'ala has concealed Jannat from the eyes of the people, and we believe in it despite we do not see it. So remember, we as Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, we believe Jannat and Jahannam are physical. Ne? It's not a it's not a concept, or it's not something that exists in the mind. It's a physical place that has already been created. Right. And how does it fit into our discussion here? Quite obvious. If you're following the discussion, remember after Hashar and Nashar, after Hisab and Kitab, that's the next step. Remember, we were discussing till now Hisab, Kitab. Remember, we were discussing that you have to answer for your actions, your actions will be weighed, etc., etc. Right? We were discussing all of that. Right? After that, the next step is either Jannat or Jahannam. That's how it fits into the picture. So interesting. Here it's mentioned that Jannat is a conglomeration of favors. It is a nice word. It is a gathering of delights. It is a gathering of pleasures, right? And Jahannam on the other opposite end, it is a gathering, it is a conglomeration of torments. Allah Ta'ala protect us. It is a gathering of punishment. And then Jannat will obviously be for the mahbubina ilahi, for the beloveds of Allah Ta'ala. It will be his place of hosting. Like how you give a nice example here. They say, like, when you have a very special guest coming, you have a very special guest, somebody that you are very fond of, somebody that maybe done some favor upon you. So when that person come to visit you, you want to host that person in the best possible manner. You'll take out the best food, you'll take out the best cutlery, you'll take out the best linen, you ensure the house is clean, etc., etc. Why? Because your beloved guest is coming. So you are going to say, you put out all the stops, you pull out all the stops, and you give it your best. So same thing. The believers, the pious believers are who? They are the friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are the guests of Allah ta'ala. And like how, you got by a house, maybe you got like what you term as what you say, the visitor's room or the visitor's quarters. Like you say in Urdu, you say, Musafir Khana, when the visitors come. Yeah, they call guest quarters, the right word. The guest quarters. So you make it nice. So this is the guest quarters of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the guest quarters. It's absolutely beautiful. So that is Jannat where will host, Allah Ta'ala will host his special servants that has sacrificed, gave up their food, gave up their drink, gave up intimacy in the month of Ramadan, in the hot months, for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, stood in Tarawih, stood in prayer in the night time, etc. And then obviously Jahannam is for the maghdubin. Jahannam is for the maghdubin. Those persons who Allah Ta'ala's anger is directed to them. So like how, when you have like I said, when you have a special guest coming, you want to honor them, you have a guest quarters. And the contrary, when somebody has been naughty, somebody has been delinquent, somebody has been disobedient, then what you have? You have a naughty corner for him. You have a jail for him where he'll be restricted. So mankind naturally he inclines to something which is physical. Mankind is a not a, is a physical being. He naturally inclines to those things which are physical delights. That is why Allah Ta'ala to encourage man that if you do things for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You do things for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You sacrifice, then He's promised you with something which is physical, something that we as human beings can relate to. That's why Allah Ta'ala has promised physical things. Allah Ta'ala has promised physical things. He's promised you Jannat, He's promised you palaces, rivers, food, hurun in, fruit, etc. Because human beings are physical beings. But but actually, the ultimate goal of a believer is supposed to be the raza of Allah Ta'ala, the happiness of Allah Ta'ala. This is just a prize encouragement. So this is an interesting point. There's a deep point here. That as human beings, our ultimate goal is what? Is the pleasure of Allah Ta'ala. Urdu is the khushnudi, the khusnud. In Arabic, uh, rida. But because human beings are physical beings, this is an encouragement. Like how same thing, like how, they say, like, if you want your son to do well in the exams, right? So you promise him, look here, if you do well, you're gonna get his iPhone, you're gonna get his iPad, you're gonna get his computer. Maybe in previous times you say you're gonna get a bicycle, something. Now the children not interested in bicycle, now they want iPad, iPhone. So you that promising the child that iPhone, is that what you really want? That the child must get an iPhone? You want the child to do well in the exams. You want the child to do well in the exams. You're just giving that. You're baiting him with that. You are baiting with him. So as a Muslim, as a believer, our ultimate goal is what? Is the happiness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That Allah ta'ala must be happy with us. But the Jannat is just an encouragement, enticement. Okay, see, time is up. We almost finished with the introduction. Almost finished with the introduction. We will just finish introduction, and tomorrow we will start with the actual hadith, inshallah. So we will switch over the same link now to the tafsir, inshallah. Bas.